All right, here I am back at it a little bit. Just Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks to all those who've been watching my videos and subscribing, and maybe I'll pick up a few more subscribers in 2024. But anyways, yeah, back on the old 396 402 here. I'm just gonna install one piston assembly here. I've already file fit my rings. This engine is just a stock rebuild, so it was more or less just checking, and I've basically filed the rings just to make sure that they're all even, consistent between the cylinders. This engine's obviously not gonna see a lot of abuse, or certainly it's not going to see nitrous or anything like that. It's just naturally aspirated. So got my rings installed onto my pistons here. I got the bearings in. I did find I was using Clevite bearings, and I found an issue with a couple of the bearings, probably just from them sitting around for so long. So anyways, I just didn't like how it looked, and I happened to have a set of King rod bearings kicking around, the right size that I needed, so I swapped them out, and yeah, I'm just gonna install a piston here. They make obviously, I'm sure pretty much everybody watching knows that they make protective sleeves for the rod bolts, but I just use I seem to always have a little bit of 3/8 rubber fuel line hose kicking around, so that's what I use for so I don't nick the crank when I'm sliding these in. And it's probably something probably anybody who's watching the video has seen this. That's nothing new, but just showing you what I use. Is right here in the garage, handy, and yeah, that's what I'm gonna use. So main things, make sure your ring gaps are located in the right orientation, and I just follow the book, or follow what your the brand of rings, the company that makes the rings, follow their recommendations. I'm just gonna slam one in here. Got my ring compressor ready. Just put a little bit of oil on the skirt here, and a little on the rings. Doesn't take much. No little shot in the cylinders, just so things aren't going in dry. All right, sit like that. Everybody seems to have their own way of doing it, tools they use. I'm just using what I have in my shop here. Snap that up. And just give this a little Little tap around the edge, make sure it's seated against the block nice. And throw a couple of cloths down on the floor to contain the oil. I'm gonna make a mess. I'll probably cut a piece of paper here in a minute. That's all right. Hopefully this camera is showing all right. Yeah, probably. Yeah, okay. Just gonna, got my crank positioned down. Lots of room. We can I see videos where everyone gets gung-ho and just drives these things in, but I just like to take my time in case a ring happens to slip out of the tool here. I don't want it hanging up. Get heavy-handed with the hammer and end up breaking a ring, then we pretty much haven't gained anything. It's all looking okay. There we go. Straighten this out as we go. There we go. That's better. And as far as assembly lube, everyone's got their preference. There's lots of different products out there. I like using this stuff. I'm not sure when I'll be running this engine, so just gonna reach in and give a little smear on the old rod bearing there. You know, so there, a little smear on the journal itself. Just so we know we're not going to be dry start. And yeah, if I didn't show or talk about it, I did use I used my my micrometers and my dial bore gauge and stuff. So I did torque up. I measured my rod bearing clearance in the bench using the tools, the measuring tools, because I have them. If you don't, lots of videos saying you can't use plaster gauge. Well, yeah, you can. I've used plaster gauge pretty much on the majority of my engine builds. Obviously, if you have the other tools, of course you're going to use them, but not everybody has them. So anyways, I ended up with, for those that are wondering, I got sitting at 2.5 thou on the rod journal clearance, which to me is about what I like. Move this over a bit. Let's see if coming in. We are. Remove the Here's my rod cap. I don't know if yeah, I guess I forgot to maybe talk about the last video. I'd used vinegar to clean up the big ends of the rods. So I guess I forgot, jumping ahead of myself, but I did this intentional so you could see it. I know some will say, why wouldn't you clean all that up? Believe me, it's been Scotch-Brite and wired wheeled, and this little bit of superficial ain't gonna hurt nothing. But I wanted the, you know, the critical areas where the bearings are sitting against the you know, the bores here, the rod and the cap. I wanted that all cleaned up real nice. But you can see the line. So this was just plain vinegar, 4%, and it did pretty good. I've read where vinegar is not good for aluminum, so that's why I didn't soak the whole thing. I probably could have got away with it for a short time, but there's really no need. This little bit of superficial here is not going to hurt nothing. And there was comments about using WD-40. Well, WD-40 and the Scotch-Brite took a little bit off, but not much. So just to show you the difference, just by soaking in vinegar, it cleaned them up real nice. All right, rod cap, a little bit of this lube I like using. And you can see this. Well, there is a slight chamfer on both sides, but you can see a little bit of gap on this side here and these tangs here. And these tangs go against the crank side. The flat sides here, that's where the rods go together on the journal. So make sure also you see our number 1 here. Hopefully that shows up. And these are ARP bolts, so I'll be using ARP lube. I want a little bit on the surface that going to go against the rod cap itself. I'm just going to snug these up little by little, evenly. Try and put the cap bottoms out here. There we go. I'll get them all in and then I'll go through and I'll torque each one up. These ones here were, I'll have to reconfirm the spec, but I believe they're at 50 foot-pounds for the torque spec on those. Some require stretch. You put the stretch gauge on. I don't have a stretch gauge. I mean, stretch gauge is obviously a good idea, especially when you get into some real high-end grade bolts and stuff like that, or high-end race engine. This is just a stock rebuild with a couple upgrades. So this is overkill for anything this engine's going to see. That's that, and see that it's moves nice and free back and forth, which is what we want. Show our rod, orientation, tanks, towards the crank. And our piston with the arrow, which goes towards the front of the block. Oh, this is number 1 cylinder. Show you the rest of these while we're here. Yeah, you can see the lines again where the Vinegar. I did 4 of them. I did 4 of them for 24 hours and then 4 of them for 48. And like this one here, you can see came out real nice and clean. 48 hours. So yeah, it worked. It's just kind of a little experiment. I've seen, obviously I didn't invent it, it's not my idea, I just seen other guys do it, different videos on YouTube, so I thought I'd try it out myself, and I'm glad I did, because it worked out really well. Well, so that's all I got for now. I'm not going to video of me putting in all the pistons. I don't know how to edit yet, probably get too long and boring to watch, but there's 1 piston in, and I'll get the rest in, and then we'll be back later on, and hopefully keep saying it, but hopefully we'll get that old 62 painted up too. So again, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe.